What's up, guys? We're gonna 𝗩𝗏𝗣𝗘, and I'll be showing you guys how to make some catchy melodies using the triplets grid. If you guys haven't subbed already, or turn those homage, do so. Go those up a lot. Let's hop right into it. So with the triplets, usually I would say just starting out, something a higher BPM would fit this a lot better, or a really low one, just because of how they work and the timing. So you can kind of, mess around with that. And then for the scale, we don't really have to make anything dark, so I'm just go with an F major. We could always transpose or change it if we need to, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so for the first sound, I'm gonna be using a mallet for this, just because it's easier to hear. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing that I would recommend doing is create a bass line, and you want this bass line to be on just the regular grid, the 1/2 beat, 1/4 beat grids. Now, if you do it on a 1/3 beat, there's nothing wrong with that, but it could mess up your rhythm. Say if like you want to add drums to it, it could offset the drums and make everything sound a little weird if you kind of use this for the bass line. So what I like to do to make sure we avoid that is just use the 1/2 beat grid so everything's in rhythm, and then our top melodies we can use a triplet. So we're in an F. So right here, what you could do is either create a chord upwards and then kind of move these around, right? Okay, or you could go backwards, which is what I like to do, just because if you make a rap beats, it'll kind of give you a darker type of melody, right, or bass line. So then you can just you can move stuff over. You can add another note in. Okay, as simple as that, and that's how you can come up with like quick bass lines. If you don't know chords, you can go to stamps. You can grab in a chord like this and just do the same thing, and then you can kind of get some bass lines in there. Okay. So what we need to do is add some rhythm. So we're just gonna offset some of these. So we can just offset these. See what that sounds like. Let's put the metronome on. And I want to kind of move this down. Okay, so now we have a bass line. So let's go ahead and start with our triplet melodies. All right, so now we have our bass line. So this is where things get a little tricky, especially if you aren't experienced with making melodies, etc., etc. I'm gonna show you a little trick that you can do where you don't have to worry about any of these chords. But first we want to put this in triplets. Okay, so 1/3 beat. I think that's the easiest one to follow. So all we need to do is just make the first chord. Okay, so just make this one. You can go as high as you want. You can fill it up like that. Now, since everything from the get-go is already in harmony, we don't even have to make these chords. We literally, if you look, you see it's lining up. We literally don't even have to make these chords. All we need to use is these notes and Shift D to kind of to make these smaller or fit on the grid. And all we have to do now is just make a melody with this all the way across, and we don't have to worry about any of these lower notes. With this, this is up to you. Obviously, you have to kind of pick the notes you like, but we can. All right, we could just throw some notes in there. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna move one of these. Let's move that one. Take this one. All right, kind of utilize that third grid. Just kind of wiggle it back from 1 to 1, and then end on this note. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's take this note, pull this up. Okay, I'm good with that. Right, everything's in harmony, and we didn't have to even do any extra work. So that is like a little method you could use, so that you don't even have to worry about this stuff down here, especially, because I know a lot of people struggle with trying to figure out like what right notes to use, but all of these work together. So that is our melody, and we're going to keep building on this. Let's move on. All right, so I went ahead and loaded up Labs and color coded this because I didn't want this to get too confusing since we're working on one MIDI. So I just kind of transferred it here, so we can see, so we have our bass, like our little mid section notes. So with this triplets grid, like once you get to this point, be careful, because a triplet grid, it could be very annoying if you place too many notes. So like, so we do something like this, like it sounds good, right? But that could get very annoying if this melody is playing over and over again. So be careful of some of these notes. So with this triplets grid, or not the triplets grid, but with this, we can take this, and if we like make a chord from it, we take this F and we can just start there. And if we finish that off, we have an A, and then an A could be like our ending part. And let's just do something like this. Let's take a chord. We'll take this note, make a chord out of it like this. I'm gonna take this G. I kind of like this one. Nah, I'm gonna keep that. All right. And then I'm gonna just copy this over just like that. And then there we have our little next part. Okay, and then, well, I'm gonna just keep it like this. I'll copy it later. So let's move on to like our top melody. Okay, so now this is the top melody, and this is the part we can kind of have fun. So I'm gonna copy this over, and so this isn't so repetitive, I like to do the top melody across the whole thing. Okay, now you can copy things over, but you just want a little bit of variation. So I'm gonna use a different color for this. Okay, and if you want to, you could just take this, the root, or not the root of the scale, but the one that you have starting. So this D4, you can just pull it up, maybe like right here, and then you just want to kind of trickle it down, right? Just something like that. So let's try something like this. Let's make a chord downward, something like this. Could just pull this up. Okay, and we could check this. You can see that these work together. So you just kind of pull these up, drag this back in. I'm gonna add this in there. Kind of keep the same rhythm, right? You can see just kind of connecting some of the notes a little bit, you know. I'm gonna add like a, okay. And then let's just copy this over just to save a little bit of time. And then we can just, I don't know, do something like this. All right, that should sound good. Let's listen to it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna copy this over because I don't like the way this piano sounds with this. And I'm gonna paste it on our original and then change it to green. But I'll show this so you can kind of see everything we did. And let's play it. Okay, and that is our melody. So let's go ahead and add the rest of our sounds so we can kind of make this into a fuller melody here. All right, so now this is done, we can kind of add some other sounds and stuff. So I'm gonna copy this to our first sound, and this is just like a bell. It's kind of like a detuned bell. It's a common sound in the Omnisphere. It's just kind of edited a bit, so I'll show you what that sounds like by itself. Okay, so there's that sound, and what we're gonna do now is just add something to this, and this is just a little custom, I guess it's like a synth-y sound. Okay, so with this, we're just gonna use fifths, simple as that. So we come up here, go to fifth, and put it on our first note. So basically our first note for our bass line was a D4, so we just put it there, and then just kind of just do something like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our little bass that we threw in here so we can have some low frequencies. All right, and lastly, we're gonna add our bass, and this is the preset I'm using. So we can just go in here, copy this, and this might be a little too low. Yeah. And then just add that in. This is just to add some weight to the melody so it's not so like thin. So play it. Okay, and the cool thing about triplets is a lot of times they sound good, like with halftime, so you can throw a gross beat or something like that, or just add some effects. So I guess we got time. I could just throw this in here and just throw in a master. Let's see what this sounds like. Probably should take out some of the bass. All right. All right, and now you got two melodies. All right, now I don't know, I kind of want to throw some drums. I might just do it for the outro, but I think this video is already too long, so I'm gonna leave it there. And that's gonna be for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.